Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com.
Boy, I tell you what, we dug deep into the past for that one. You keep on moving from Deep Purple. Dude,
Nice.
I haven't heard that in ages, and oh, what a great album that was.
Great vocals,
And,
too, man.
And you put David Coverdale and our guest today. We are proud to have him on the show, Glenn Hughes. Glenn, welcome to Rock and Metal Revival.
Happy days to everyone listening, and happy evenings.
Glenn, Jerry and I have talked for years about having you on the show. We've been big fans of what you've done with Deep Purple and with Black Country, and now you're coming on a big tour which kicks off August 9th. U.S. tour, a solo tour. Tell us about that.
Well, this is pretty wild, everyone. So, as you know, I've been in so-and-so, played with this guy, playing in this band, and blah, blah, blah. I have a career that goes all across the world. I live in Los Angeles for 43 years. And now it's time to play America, the country I adore, the country that I was so fortunate to move to when I was a teenager. And I love this country, and it's very clear to me that and people need to know how much I want to play this country. It's such a large country. You can never play this country all in one. You have to do it in 3 stages. So we start August 9th, and we are doing a certain leg of the tour. Then we'll come back again next March and do the second leg. And then, in September we'll do another leg. So
Nice.
For me it means everything. It's playing in clubs right now and introducing my music to people that have heard it, or reintroducing it to people that heard it, and there'll be some people that have never seen me before. I love playing to people that have never seen me. I have a very, very strong connection with the followers of my music. I never call them fans. I think the word fanatic is scary. I have a great followers on the internet that follow my music and life, and this tour is all about giving back to them that have also waited for me to come to their cities and towns across this United States. It's such an important thing for me.
So, if people are coming out to catch you on this first leg of the tour, Glenn, what can they expect? I mean, what is in a set list for the Glenn?
What we're going to do here is, and this is going to when I keep telling people the dates or the years I came to America in 1970, opening for my friends the Moody Blues. I didn't even have an album out with Trapeze at that time, and we were doing arenas across America, and that got the foothold for me to realize that I was playing in the country where I was going to live, and it's like going back in time for me, and playing clubs for me on this first tour is would I rather not play, or would I rather play in a club? I could play in a theater, I guess, but the fact of the matter is I want to go back to where I started. I want to connect in that small environment in sold out venues and get close to my fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at with my life. It's about being, connected to my fan base. It really is all what I'm all about. It's where I am.
So who's in your touring band?
My touring band is the band that before I formed Black Country with Joe, Jason, and Derek in 2009. I had a solo band, Glenn-Hughes solo band. I've got 5 dogs here. Excuse my zoo. I have a band, and the guitar player is a Dane called Soren, Soren Anderson, Andersen.
Mm-hmm.
Soren Anderson. My drummer is a Swede, Pontus, Pontus Engborg, Engborg, drummer. It's a trio.
Oh, nice.
As was my band Trapeze, and we dig into all kinds of my music, from Trapeze to Purple to Hugh Thrall to Glenn Hughes solo to Black Country. We dig it. What we're going to do on this run, guys, is I'm going to take audiences back to 1970. We're going to do 70s music, play some stuff from the 80s, play some stuff from the 90s, and play some Millennium stuff, and all up to Black Country, and and Glenn-Hughes solo. So it's going to be like a creative. I mean, I've recorded over 400 songs in my life, so I've got a lot of songs to choose from.
That's true. And from what I'm looking at your tour schedule, it looks like you head to South America and to Europe. You're a busy guy.
I'm going to be busy all the way through to Christmas, and then January, Black Country record Volume 4. We are doing Volume 4 in January, and then in February, I'm probably going to go on a couple of cruises, rock cruises, and in the spring, I go back for a longer U.S. run, and hopefully we'll get up to see you guys.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we would certainly be there if you were here in Wisconsin. I've got to ask you, we've had a couple other, lucky enough, I should say, to have a couple other Hall of Fame members on the show with us. What was it like for you that night at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, David Coverdale, one of my closest all-time friends in my whole life. We've been friends closely since David joined the band. I took him under my wing when he joined the band, as he had never been in a band before, and I think he was a fan of my band Trapeze, and David was very, very shy back then, believe it or not. So, we're like brothers. We're 1 month apart, and what was the question, guys?
Now, how was it for you that night at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, David and I went together, and we had a conversation on the phone before we got on the plane about will we be asked to perform with Mark II, Deep Purple, and I said to him, doubtful. It's very doubtful because I'm kind of more involved with the organization. And I said, it's very doubtful we'll perform. Let's just go and get our awards, and my team will be there, your team will be there. There are a lot of people flying in. I had a lot of guests come with me, and I said, let's just go and accept our awards and have a few diet sodas and have some fun. And and I said at the end, as happened, Paul Schaefer invited David and I to sing with Sheryl Crow and Robert Lamb and Steve Miller and Little Steven and my friend Grace Potter to join in with Cheap Trick. I knew we'd be on the end of the show. I just knew we wouldn't be invited to join the Purple thing, which was okay for me because, it really isn't about... The honor for me was to be into the Hall of Fame and to be of service to other people. I now work closely with the Hall of Fame, Shelby, and of course Greg Harris, the chairman. I've been back. I took Jerry Cantrell back with me a couple of months ago to do a panel at the Hall of Fame, and I'm going back again next year to do some more work with the Hall of Fame. I'm working closely with them, so I kind of feel that they've kind of said this is your home. So I'm really, really blessed to feel that it is my home. I'm really happy.
That's awesome. Now, I actually got to see it on HBO when they replayed it, and I couldn't believe the notes you were hitting at the end of that.
Man.
And how do you keep your voice? I mean, because there's so many singers nowadays who back in the day could hit these outrageous notes who can't do it anymore, but you don't seem to have lost anything off of your high register.
It's a long story, but I'm going to abbreviate it to you. I was very fortunate to meet who is now my mentor. I was very fortunate to meet Stevie Wonder in 1974 in the recording studio, the record plant, while we were making Stormbringer. I met him in the studio, and we became... Let's just say that I brought him into the session when we were making a song, and I befriended him, and he's been gracious with me for years, and I went in the studio with him, and I asked him a few questions about breathing and about how he sustains his notes, and it really is about how you breathe when you sing. And the fact is, as you know, I've had some surgeries in the last couple of years, and my lungs are quite big, so I've got a capacity to hold notes longer than some. So I think it's about breathing, and it's about yoga style of breathing, which is really vitally important for me, and letting go of any fear or anxiety when I'm singing. I see some singers sing, and very, very tense.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very, very calm when I sing.
Okay.
I don't sing from my throat, it's all from the diaphragm. Again, I've learned, in my opinion, from the greatest singer known to the history of singing, Stevie Wonder.
Exactly.
I was just very, 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 I was just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and there he was, and to this very day we still sing together, so I'm very, very fortunate.
That's awesome.
Well, Glenn, now that you're heading out on this on your solo tour and digging into some of the past catalog, are we going to see maybe a Glenn Hughes another solo album in the near future?
Gentlemen, I have wonderful news for you. I am now sequencing that album as we speak.
Nice.
Today I have the sequencing. We're mastering tomorrow. The album will be released the first week of November or the last week of October in America.
Awesome.
I can't give you the title because I'm in between two titles, but what I can tell you, fellas, it's a rock album. I don't think I've made an album this heavy since Fused with Tony Iommi, which was 11 years ago.
I love that album.
It is as dense and as deep, as dark as I did with Tony. It's also very dramatic. It's also very soulful. But it's a very, very tense, intense Glenn rock record, something I haven't done for quite some time. I think Black Country Communion brought me back to the forefront of, we had 3 number-1 records on, across the world on the rock charts with those albums. And I think that signaled for me to return to my roots.
Yeah.
As Trapeze were a rock band,
Yeah.
I went back to my roots. And this, for all people that listen to my music, and let's be clear, most of my fans are rock fans. I think this is an album they've been waiting for.
Sweet.
And I have to say to you, it's really difficult to say this, but I'm so bloody pleased that I went in my studio at home and I said, I'm just going to focus on writing a rock record, and I want to make it as Glenn as possible. And I'm really excited to release this record, guys. And of course, next year I'll be promoting the hell out of this thing. We're going to go on tour for 18 months, along with Black Country Communion, doing shows as well. So I'm going to be very, very busy.
Awesome.
That is very
news.
exciting
Yeah,
news.
I can't
That
wait
is
to hear that.
outstanding
news. And
guys, it's difficult, especially when I'm being interviewed and people will be hearing this or reading this. That it's comforting to tell you that I'm in a really good place when I think that I may have recorded a really fine record for people that have been waiting for an album from Glenn that is in the genre they want.
That's awesome. I can't wait. Now, one thing I want to know, is there any songs on there that are going to feature the cowbell?
Chad Smith came in and played drums. Guys, you don't want to know the truth, and I'm glad this is hilarious. So Chad's in the studio with me, and I'm looking at the songs, and I'm going, it's time to do percussion, right? And I'm hearing a cowbell on this one particular song. Then I'm thinking of the Saturday Night Live sketch where Will Ferrell, the Aretha song where he's, and of course, Chad, I've seen Chad go through the Will Ferrell experience for 15 years. And let me tell you, it's getting old with Chad. And they're really good friends with Will. But I'm looking at Chad going, there's no fucking way we can put any cowbell on this record. Now listen, before the Will Ferrell thing on Saturday Night Live, cowbell was a cool, honky-tonk woman. Come on.
Yeah, gotta have it.
American Band.
Cowbell, 25, 30 years plus back ago, was a very cool, percussive, accessory. Now, if you only hear cowbell is like, you can't put a cowbell on a record. Keep fucking free.
That's true.
So, but I gotta tell you, I'm a big cowbell lover.
All right, that's
Nice.
awesome. Well, Glenn,
Nice.
we are very honored to have you on the show. Tell people where they can find out more about your tour and where you're playing.
Go on my, Glenn-Hughes.com or, Glenn_Hughes on Twitter or Glenn Hughes online on Instagram or Glenn Hughes Facebook and a whole host of stuff. You can go get my tour dates and Unfortunately, we're not playing Wisconsin, but if you want to just come and see me in Chicago, we're playing 2 nights. And you need to know, everyone, that I love this country I live in. I've been here since 1970. I love the United States of America. I'm very, very fortunate to live in our great country, and I want to wish us all the very best as we trudge this happy road of destiny, because we live in paradise in this country, and let's keep this country rocking and rolling. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, Glenn Hughes. Here's Black Country from Black Country Communion. Glenn Hughes, you are welcome on Rock and Metal Revival anytime, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Megarock Radios on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noize Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations.